Boom. All right, people, we are back at you guys once again with a new review.
Hell yeah, we are.
And this time, guys, I figured we would talk about the video game Columns,
Oh yeah.
which came out here, for what I'm looking, it came out in 1989, which, it's
Damn.
funny. I didn't think it came out that long in the past because I always thought it came out in the early 90s, like 92.
Yeah.
93 came out, but no, I guess it came out in 89, it says.
Hmm.
And yeah, we're going to be just talking about the game and how much, we like the game, and we've been playing it for years and all that stuff and all
Yeah,
that
we
good
used to
stuff.
have we used to have battles every time we get that dual action going and see who was better at it.
Right. It is addictive. I mean, it's a fun game. It's like a Tetris type game.
Yeah,
Um,
you got to match up colors and match them up and keep it knocked down low and
right. And keep on going. It gets more and more intense
yeah,
as
'cause it
time
gets
goes on.
yeah, as the board goes on, the pieces drop down slow at first, but the longer you go,
Yeah,
and
they
you
drop
start
down
dropping
fast as
down.
hell.
Yeah, and we'd have to remember pause it after every
Right.
time. Right, it's like, okay, that's the color. Where does it go? This and that. Okay, okay, boom, and then you have to pause it again and be like, okay, where's this one going? Like over here, boom.
Right. It's one of those games where you can play it two different ways. You
Yeah,
can either just let the things drop and you figure out how to line them up, or
yeah,
you'd have to pause the game and figure out where your next move's going to be. You
yeah.
know.
Because I mean, yeah, because if you make one slip up, that's gonna go somewhere else, and you're gonna fucking block something and be like, fuck.
Right. So at first you can usually just let the blocks drop, but after when they start to speed up, man, forget about it. You're gonna
Yeah,
have to pause that shit if you want to make it longer.
yeah. Either that, or you're gonna have to be like really, really good to be like boom, 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 boom,
Right.
boom,
You'd
boom.
have to be really good at it, and I'm sure there's some people out there that are probably really awesome at playing that game.
Yeah, but we definitely ain't that good.
Right.
Like,
We're just like average players, maybe a little bit above average since we did play the hell out of it back in the day.
yeah, it was
Um,
we got it up the score in what into the millions.
I have no idea. I mean, I'd have to look at.
I know we used to be so competitive with that game that who had the top score and
Right.
me and you would just be battling it out time after time. Like, no, I got the highest score. No, I got the highest score. No, I got the highest score.
Well, see, here's the thing. The game was ported over to the PS2 with the Sega Genesis collection.
Yeah,
And see, and that's when I believe I started to really play, or both of us started to really play that game and get into it. I didn't really play it. I don't think I really played it that much beforehand. Maybe on that. I'm trying to think. There was a Dreamcast game that I think had that game in there as well, like
yeah.
a Dreamcast for a Genesis collection. But it says here in November 2006, Columns was released as part of the Sega Genesis collection on the PS2. That's when we really started to get into it. I don't recall really getting into it in the 90s. You know,
No, I mean, I just remember like I said, early 2000s. I
right?
remember me and you just hanging out playing that damn game and be
Yeah,
like,
having a lot of fun. Even the music in that game is catchy. It's pretty good.
yeah,
You know, and yeah, but it says here, which is pretty interesting. This game was released. It says Columns is a match 3 puzzle video game released in 1989, and that
damn.
was it was ported to the Mac and DOS uh, before being released commercially by Sega, who ported it to the arcades and then several Sega consoles,
Damn,
which is
could you imagine going to an arcade place and playing columns
yeah.
packed in?
That would have been cool. Probably intense. I don't think you could probably pause it at the arcades either.
No, and plus, can you imagine how the longer you go, you probably have to feed it more quarters
Yeah,
and more
yeah.
quarters to keep going, and
Right. It's yeah. It's a hell of a game to play.
I,
Yeah. Columns was one of the many title matching puzzle games, it says, to appear after the great success of Tetris
Yeah.
in the late
See,
80s.
that's what I started getting into, like playing once in a while was Tetris, and then when you introduced me to Columns, it was like,
Right. That seemed like to me a much funner game, Columns,
yeah,
over Tetris, in my opinion.
yeah.
What about you? Did you like Tetris more or did you like Columns more?
I definitely would say I like Columns more.
Yeah. Columns is addicting. And I know Tetris is too, but just something about that game, it pulls you in and makes you want to just keep playing.
Yeah.
You know?
You remember one time me and you played that, we were having a battle, and like I was like doing good, you were doing kind of horribly, and at like one point, like you're like, yeah, there's no point to keep on. You're just gonna keep going, and I'm already
Right.
way the fuck up here. And,
Right. We were pretty competitive
yeah,
on that for a while. It had just like that pinball game that we were playing, the Metroid Prime.
Yeah,
Metroid Prime pinball for the DS. That was very addicting too.
That was probably our most competitive
Yeah.
game.
Well, I set the score so high on it. It's
Yeah.
it's like unbelievable. you
I
know?
remember one day playing that fucking Metroid game. I played
Right.
it for like 2 hours to beat your high score.
Right.
I was like, yeah, now go ahead and beat that, buddy. Have fun spending the next 2 hours beating that. And you're like 10 minutes later, like, beaten. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? No fucking way.
Right. Right. You saw certain games like that are very competitive, but yeah, Columns is definitely one of them. And we just had a lot of fun with that back in the day.
Yeah, it was just like just sitting there. I mean, whether it was just one of us playing the game, or if we both hopped on and have our match up, and like I got this motherfucker.
Right. And it says here, as far as ports goes, the Sega ported the arcade game to the Mega Drive / Genesis console. It says this version of the game was nearly identical to the original arcade game. And it says here, I find this interesting, Columns was the first pack-in game for the Game Gear.
Oh,
Which
cool.
I don't think I've ever played the Game Gear version. I don't recall. I don't remember there being a Game Gear version. That's interesting, and
That is.
I would like to check that out. And also, it says this version was slightly different from the Mega Drive / Genesis version, and its soundtrack was rearranged due to the limitations of the handheld's sound chip.
Yeah.
So yeah, right on. So it's probably slightly different, like it says. I'd like to check that out actually. That might be pretty fun to play.
And I know I got the Columns game for the PS3.
Right, you got it on the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection.
Yeah.
Which I had, and you played that a while, not too, like 2 years ago or something. You set the bar so high on it.
Yeah, I got on one of the boards, I hit like over 1 million points.
Right, that's crazy high, man.
Yeah, dude. I tell you what, it takes you a long time to get that up there too. It took me probably like 2.5 hours to get it over 1 million.
Right, that must have been a bitch to get it that high.
I mean, it sucks. Like,
didn't you get it close to 2 million, or was it just over 1 million, or?
Yeah, it was like, I remember at one point I was determined to hit 1 million points. And like I remember one time I got so close, I got up to like 999,742 points.
Damn.
And then like something happened, and like the game, I was like right at the top. I was like, come on, give me one more just to hit that 1 million points. And it's like, nope, fucking game over. 900.
Oh yeah, it's easy to die in that game, man.
I was like thinking, you mother, I was. I was pissed. I was like,
I can imagine.
I just, for some reason, for like a year, I tried to play that game every now and then, and I just, I could not get back up close to even that 1 million.
Right, but then at some
Yeah,
point you did get the million.
yeah. I think it was like 1.2 million that I wound up getting up to is like my top score.
Right.
And when I set the bar that high, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm done.
You set it so high that you're like, yeah, that it's going to be hard to pass that. But yeah,
Yeah,
that when we started playing this game, it was definitely on the Sega Genesis collection for the PS2 back in like 2006,
yeah.
and we played it, like I said, quite a bit, and had a lot of fun with it. And also,
Remember,
huh?
I was gonna say, I always remember coming over, and that was like the first thing we did. We just
Right.
threw a game of columns on, let's go at it.
Yes, sir. And also, it says here, it was for the Nintendo's Virtual Console for the Wii.
Yeah,
Um, and it was also included in Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection for the PS3 and Xbox 360, which I have for sure. Both actually, I got it for both the PS3 and 360.
that's
Um,
cool, dude.
oh yeah, it's pretty fun. Let's see here. It says it was included as one of the games in the Sega Genesis Mini. Okay, that's cool. Um,
Huh, that's
it was
cool.
also okay. It was one of the games that was included in the Sega Genesis Classics. I think that was for the PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Um,
Damn.
so yeah, I mean they made a lot of Sega done a lot of collections, and they always pretty much always add in columns, which is a good idea because it is a fun, addictive game. You know,
It is.
like I said, even the music in that is pretty cool. It fits that game perfectly, and I believe there was like two or three columns games, but I could never get into the second one, and I think there was a third one, but I don't know for sure. I should probably look that up. But the first one is the one, man. That to me was like um, pretty awesome. You know, it's cool to see them like ported over like that to all these different consoles. I would like to
Yeah.
play the arcade version though, just to see what that's all like. I need to look that up online on YouTube and see what the gameplay of all that is.
Yeah.
But
And something you don't see a whole lot of more anymore is the arcade rooms.
right, right,
Remember, like back in the day, you go to like a mall or something, and you
right.
had the big arcade fucking place. You could walk in and be like arcades and
All right. At any time you would used to go into like the movie theaters. I don't know
yeah,
now since I haven't been to the theaters in a long time, but every time you go into like a movie theater, there's a couple arcades in there. You know.
yeah. Remember
I
that one at the one mall, like you go in to see a movie, they had like the whole like fun place where it was like video game, it was arcade games, there was other games that you could play to win tickets to get, something off the shelf and I remember there was one game that I loved going there and playing. It was like a racing game.
right.
Like you could sit, like you're sitting in a car, and you got the gas pedal, the brake pedal, the shifter, the steering wheel, and you're watching on the screen. You're like act like like you're really driving a damn car. It's like,
Right.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, it's always fun to play racing games.
yeah, racing games like Columns and other games like that. Like those were our games back in the day.
Yeah. Certain games can be very addictive, and this is definitely one of them,
Yeah,
for sure. And also, as we're talking about this review, I'm gonna have Columns gameplay going on in the background at the same time,
hell
which
yeah,
is pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, I have it. Like I said, I have it for the PS2, PS3. I don't actually have the cartridge version as of yet, but maybe one day I'll probably, if I see it on the cheap, I'll get it.
yeah.
Just for the hell of it. I believe it's a pretty cheap game to pick up, on the Genesis. But yeah, I mean, I highly recommend it. It's a fun game, man, and uh, it's addictive.
Yeah, I mean, I know it ain't no big like shoot 'em up game or like Grand Theft Auto or
Right. Yeah, this is old
something like
school.
that. Yeah, this is just something like
Simple,
something
simple and
fun,
fun.
you know. You know, you got to have a lot of concentration
Oh
to.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you got to have good eyes because I mean, once the game starts to pick up,
Yeah,
you
those blocks are
yeah,
dropping, and you got to be like, you got to figure out too, like not just the move you have coming down. You got like it always show in the little corner, like what's coming out behind
yeah.
that.
What's coming out next?
And we always like just plan for the one behind. Like, okay, if I set this one here, I put that one
Right.
over here.
And you got to sometimes you got to press the button a couple times in order to flip it before it
Yeah,
lands in order to make
yeah.
sure you get it to the right spot.
Right, you
And
get those ones you know you put upright or sideways or
right, and sometimes as you're getting better and better points, these motherfuckers are just flying down so fast.
yeah. Cause
Get it?
we were playing one time. We got up to like I think probably up to near like 1,000,000 points,
Right.
and they were just dropping down so fast. Like we were just basically like on the pause button like every second. Like boop, boop, okay,
Yeah.
where's that going? Okay, boop, boop, oh,
Yeah,
oh, oh.
you pretty much don't have a choice other than having to press the pause button. I mean,
Yeah.
unless if you got like cat like fucking eyes
Yeah.
that can like move
And
so fast that you can catch
yeah,
everything.
like you're just like boom, 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 boom,
Right.
boom, boom.
It's literally impossible not to pause that motherfucker unless if you're just so damn good at it that you can like, pull it off. But me, I have to pause it because at some point it just gets ridiculously fast.
Yeah. Like I
You
mean,
know.
I like when you first start the game, you know, you could be like, just okay, just here,
Right.
just
For a little while, yeah, it comes down
yeah,
slow.
yeah, but once it starts picking up speed, and if you're like halfway through the board,
Right. Then you're really gonna have to bring up your A
yeah,
game on that one.
okay, you gotta be like think to get, you know, it's all about keeping the board down to the bottom. Like
Right.
once you get to that middle spot, like okay, this is when it starts getting hard.
Right.
Like you gotta figure out something
You
to
gotta
knock it back down.
right. You gotta line up those colors, man.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna be it'll be over so fast.
And that's the bad thing too. If you get one that you got a chance and you fuck up and it goes somewhere else, you're like, no, I didn't want to go there.
Right. So that does happen a lot. If it flies down
Yeah.
so fast and you hit the button a couple times to move it over somewhere,
Yeah,
or to
and it
switch it, and
won't.
sometimes it doesn't
Yeah.
happen because it moves so fast that you're like, oh shit.
Shit,
You
I
know
did
that.
that there. Fuck.
Yeah, I didn't want to put it there, but damn it, it's moving so fast that you have to be pretty lightning fast once it really picks up. But it's fun. It's still pretty damn fun, even when it's challenging like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
But it's a
you get-
bitch sometimes.
You know, you figure how fast they drop down at 1,000,000. Imagine getting up to like 5,000,000. Those things are probably like
Oh,
11.
man.
Oh.
I can only imagine, and I probably should look this up and see who's got like the world records or whatever on that shit,
Yeah, and see
and
like,
watch their gameplays.
yeah, and see how like if they like how if really up there how fast them things
Right.
get.
I want to see like professional gamers play this game, and I want to see how good they are at like getting these high points.
Hell yeah.
I think that would be interesting, which I've never really looked up, but I'm definitely going to here in the near future because I think that would be interesting to watch, like some heavy duty gamers just fucking, make quick decisions in order to
Yeah.
get those things down to the bottom
Yeah,
before
I
they
want
fill
to
up
see
the screen.
like you said, like if you get up to like 3-4 million points, like
Yeah.
I know up to 1,000,000 how fast they're dropping.
Right.
Like you can only imagine how fast they would be dropping at like 3 million.
Right. I can imagine it's probably pretty intense, and you better have a good eye for all of that if you want to keep going on that level.
Yeah, definitely be like I said, be on that pause button, like the.
Yeah, and even when you do pause it and you figure out your next move, sometimes, like we were saying, it can move down so fast that you can't even catch the damn thing fast enough to move it to the right spot.
Yeah, like if you pause it like right when it starts to come down, you pause it like, okay, I need it, like as soon as this comes down, I need to get this over to the right so I get the next one down straight down, and then click, and by the time you hit the pause button, before you can move it over, it'll just drop straight down. And you're
Right.
like, no, I didn't want it there.
Right. It can definitely move mega fast
Oh
at
man.
times. But man, yeah, hell of a game, man. I mean, fun, addictive. I can see why Sega, ported it over to a lot of different consoles.
Yeah, it's
You know,
classic, man.
because yeah, I
Like
consider that a Sega's classic.
it's just one of those games that it ain't no big, like I said, it ain't no like Grand Theft Auto or Mortal Kombat or anything crazy like that. Like this is just a
Right.
fun.
It's like a Tetris type video game. You
Yeah,
know.
it's like a brain game.
Right.
Like
I really think, yeah.
you gotta really use your brain to play this game.
They had to figure out, the lineup, the colors. Otherwise, your board will fill up fast. And it sucks because when you get the board like halfway through or most of the way up there, you're like, oh shit, now it's gonna get real challenging.
Yeah, and then like you'll need like a green. Like if you were to drop a green right in this one spot, it would clear up a bunch. And it's like they start sending you like blues and reds, and then blues again, and then red. And it's like, come on, give me a fucking green.
Right. It even says here the columns fall at a faster rate as players progress.
Yeah.
And it does big time. It says the goal of the game is to play for as long as possible before the well fills up with jewels
Yeah, and you gotta line the jewels up to like
to match the colors.
yeah. What was it like? You had to match up like 4 in a row, any kind of diagonal.
Right. I think it was three in a row. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Three or four, but yeah, it gets
Yeah,
intense.
you get them like like I said, like straight up and down, sideways, or you even take them out like diagonally.
Right. And
Yeah.
as time goes on, man, you're just like you're really having to focus on that. But man, yeah, hell of a game.
It's awesome when you get you're scared because you get near the top and you drop that one certain one right down,
Right.
and before you know it, the whole board just goes down. Like you just like one gets out of the way, then it's just like boom, 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 boom.
Now let me
Yeah.
ask you something about columns.
What's up?
Have you ever had it to where the well was almost filled up, right? And you're probably thinking at that point like, fuck it, this game is about to be over with. But you pulled off some cool shit and you were able to get it to go back down.
Yeah, I have done that.
Have you? I think
Yeah.
I've done that a few times myself. And you're just thinking, oh, man, there's no way. But then like the colors you want start to come in, because sometimes, a lot of times,
Yeah.
the colors you want are not coming in. You're like, man, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then at times where it gets kind of to the top there, you're like, the colors start to come in. You're like, oh, hell yeah, I can do this and I can do that and get my ass out of this mess.
Yeah, before you know it, you're starting to knock the board down and down and down until like, hell yeah, I got this now.
Yeah, and which saves your ass, because there are times where you almost fill that well up, and then you're kind of like, you're like, damn it, I need this color and this color, and they're not coming in. But then
Yeah.
finally, at some point, sometimes they'll come in, and then you're able to knock that fucker down.
It'll come in way too late. Like you'd
Right.
be like,
Yeah, that happens too.
here we go.
Sometimes they won't come in, or they'll come in at the very end, and you can't really use it, so then you get fucked up. But yeah, it's so easy once they start to fall fast as hell. It's so easy to fucking end the game,
Yeah.
And you got to be real careful what you do as the points go up, which is the challenge of it, and it's
Yeah, like I said, it starts off slow, but once you start getting into like the thousands and
right.
10,000.
Oh, and also, doesn't like a flashing thing comes down and it
Yeah,
knocks them all down.
Yeah, like
What's that called?
It's like I remember that I forgot what it was called, but it's like a glowing thing that will drop down that you put it on, like if it lands on like a yellow, like it'll take out all the yellows out of the whole board.
Right. It's like something that helps you out, kind of in the beginning of the game when you're having a hard time.
If you're having a hard time and you're getting up near the top, and
you'll get a flashing marble.
You could land it on like a color, and it takes out that whole board of that color.
Right. Whatever the jewel color is, it will knock that hole out, which kind of does. That's cool that they do that. But you only get that kind of in the beginning. I don't think that you get that as you get higher up, do you?
You don't. Like, you get it at one point, and that's the only really, like...
Right. I think you only get that, like, once.
Yeah.
I would assume. Because it's been a while since I've played the game. But, yeah, I remember that. It will drop on whatever color, and it will eliminate all the colors no matter where they're at.
Uh-huh.
Which is, is a cool way to help you out before, you end up losing. But yeah, addictive game. And yeah, you can play 2-player. It was a split screen, and that's how we used to play it. I think I was mostly like on the left side and you were on the right side. And
remember we always like okay, I'm gonna be on the left, so you better sit, because it's like you can't like sit on the right side and try to watch the left side screen and be like,
right.
Yeah.
You definitely gotta be focused on your screen. But it's cool that they set it up like that, where it's, the split screen. That to me is pretty. That's probably the most fun way to play Columns.
Because like I say, me and you could start at the same time.
Right.
And be like, all right, we're gonna go till the other person drops out. And
right.
And I remember one time we were playing. Like I said, I set it up the bar was so high that you just like wound up quit at one point because you were getting way up to the top, and you're just like. Yeah, like I'm in such trouble. I'm so low on points. I'm already was like, like 100,000 or 200,000 points higher than you, and I was only at the middle of the board. And you're just like, yeah, there's no point to this. You're just gonna keep going and going, and there's no stopping you.
Well, you got me on that, but I definitely got you on Metroid.
Yeah,
I set the Metroid pinball so fucking high now that I don't even know if I can even like beat that myself. I just got in the zone one day and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and set this bitch way up there.
Yeah, I remember you told me your score at one point. I was like, okay, I quit.
Right. But yeah, I mean, one of these days we're gonna have to play that again. We'll split screen it, and we'll set some big scores on that, because that's an addictive, fun game to play, man. I mean, you could really get into it, man, big time. And that's what I like about certain video games. Like certain games, okay, you can get into, but they're only good for like 10, 20, maybe 30 minutes, a lot of them. But then there's some of them like Columns where you can actually just be there for like over an hour setting these high fucking scores and it not become boring on you. It's addictive.
You're like, oh man, 100,000 more points, man. Right. Okay, another 100,000 more points.
Right. But as far as me setting like 1 million, I don't know about that. I don't know if I could do that. I'd have to really lock in and just like practice and practice and practice, because I'm sure you had died many times trying to hit that high score. I would assume, right?
Yeah, it took me a while, but
I mean, didn't it take you like months?
Yeah, because like I got up to that 999,000.
Right.
And then every day I would play a game or two every day, and like for some reason I like for a while I couldn't get over like 500,000 anymore. Like what the fuck? Like I got that million, almost to 1 million, and now I can't even get over like fucking 500,000 anymore.
Right. But then you actually end up fucking dusting.
Yeah.
That one time.
Yeah, I was just like, fuck it. One day I just got in the zone. I'm like, all right, enough's enough. I'm getting that fucking million.
Hell yeah. And I even remember beforehand, before you got that Sega Genesis, what is it, Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, you were telling me that, man, I want to play this Columns again. I want to play it again. I was like, dude, you have to get the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection in order to, get that. And then,
and I went out looking for the game and I couldn't find it.
Eventually, you did though.
Yeah, I went to a place called Second and Charles.
Right. That sells video games.
Yeah, and I found the game for like, I think it was like $10, maybe $15 or something, and I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm getting this.
Yeah, scored. And did you play any other games on that collection, or was it just Columns?
I basically just wanted to play Columns.
Oh, okay, because there's other games on there that are pretty fun too.
Oh no, I know there's a shit ton on there.
But yeah, that's your go-to game for the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis.
When I'm bored, when I'm not, and I ain't got nothing else to do, I'll throw that game on and just play it.
Hell yeah! When's the last? Has it been a while since you played that game?
Yeah, it's been probably a couple months.
Yeah, I haven't played it, I think, in over a year. So I'm gonna have to jump back into it again, for sure.
Better knock the rust off.
Yeah, knock the dust off and get my ass locked into it. But yeah, fun game. I highly recommend it.
Me too.
If you guys want to play something that's simple and fun, go get yourself Columns.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's ported over to many different systems. You can get it the PS2. Let's see here for the Sega Genesis collection on the PS2. Let's see, you can get it for the Sega Mini system. You can also where is it at? Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection for the PS3 and Xbox 360, and Sega Genesis Classics, which is for the PS4 and Xbox One and Switch. So yeah, you're set. Or you can just get the original cartridge version, which is probably the best way to go.
Yeah.
Because that's the original OG. Which is fun. And for the Dreamcast, that Genesis collection, whatever it's called, I don't remember offhand. But also the reception here. Let's take a look here. It says in Japan, the game listed Columns in their April 15, 1990 issue of being the 8th most successful table arcade unit of the month. It went to be Japan's 4th highest grossing arcade game of 1990. It says right below Capcom's Final Fight and Sega's Tetris and another game, Super Monaco. This is that's interesting. Good stuff. So yeah, it's I could imagine it being pretty big like that because it is addicting and fun game. So Legacy, yeah, okay, here the sequels. There are the spin-offs here, which is Columns 2, which I played. I really couldn't get into that much. And then there's Columns 3, Revenge of Columns. But I'm not sure if I played the third one, but I really couldn't get into any of the others other than the first one.
Yeah, same here.
Versions were made available for the Master System, Mega Drive, Genesis, Sega CD, Game Gear, Saturn, and Dreamcast. Yep. So it's been ported over to so many different systems. It's crazy. But all in all, yeah, hell yeah, fun game. I'm definitely gonna give it a 10 out of 10 just because it's fun and addictive.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, if you get nothing to do and you just want to kill a couple hours and
just set some high scores and kick back
there and just
play something that's simple and fun.
Brain use.
Hell yeah. Yeah, definitely. You just pop on a game that's pretty simple and a lot of fun, like we're saying, and
Yeah, it's fun until, like you said, until it starts getting faster and faster, and you're like,
right.
oh shit, oh
Well,
shit.
that's where the challenge comes in. You're
Yeah,
gonna have to level up and really practice to
yeah,
get those
either
high
level up
spots.
or you're gonna wear the fuck out of that pause button.
Right, for sure. But anyways, I think that's all I have to say about columns. You got anything else to talk about? Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this bitch up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we've said
Yeah,
everything.
we pretty much covered everything. I'm looking over some of the things here online. Um,
Except the only fact is, I'm still the columns reigning champion.
yes. Well, go on YouTube and let's see who's got the real high scores.
Yeah.
I bet there's people that got millions of points that dusted
Probably.
our
Yeah.
asses off the market, dude.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about as far as like
Oh
me
yeah,
against you.
me and you. I haven't played it in a while.
I'm the champion.
Right. Well, yeah. Right. But for now, but yeah, I have to like jump back into it again and kind of start practicing and stuff
Well, you better
because
get
it's
your
been a while.
practice in, dude. Because one day we're gonna play
Oh yeah,
again.
one day when we go co-op, man, it's gonna be on. We're
Oh,
gonna get the pizza, we're gonna get the drinks, and we're gonna fucking kick back and play some fucking columns.
I'm gonna go out and have a columns championship belt made, and
Okay,
this is what's gonna be
that's on the line, huh?
Yeah, that's on the line, dude.
Now that's funny. I like that idea. We should do something like that. We should buy like a columns if they sound like some sort of merch, like a T-shirt or a cup, and we'll put that on the line. And whoever like gets the high score, you get the cup or whatever the merch is. And then if I beat you, you have to give the cup to me or whatever it
Yeah.
is. And then we'll keep setting the bar as high as we can go.
Yeah, we'll have a custom championship belt made
Yeah.
that, like the columns champion.
Right.
Whoever has the highest score gets the championship.
Yeah, like wrestling, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty
Hey,
cool.
fuck it,
Hell yeah. Something like that would be interesting. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this up, guys. We hope you enjoyed our little chat about columns. It's a fun, addictive game with some cool music.
Yeah.
And by the way, what did you score? What do you give that as far as the score goes? I'm gonna give it like a 10.
Oh, definitely a 10.
Yeah, I just it's so fun, you know. But yeah, we'll wrap it up, guys. We hope you people enjoyed this little chat review on our columns. That is it for now, and adios.
You